Welcome back to What She Said Sports. It's Friday. That means tomorrow is Friday. Okay, so y'all know why we are here. Uh, Earlier today, y'all actually did a very good job of sending me emails regarding the interview that took place on one sports club, TLP, the Liberian Perspective. He normally reports about the Colorado Buffaloes as well, and probably some other schools. But I know he's a buff podcaster as well. So it seems that um, the John Doe in the $100 million lawsuit has revealed himself, and he did an interview on TLP, and it was live. So it was like the John Doe has was on, I guess, like the live stream for TLP. So I have a little bit of it. So we're not listening to the whole thing. And many of you probably have heard it already because y'all let me know. And last time I saw the video, it was at 3,500 views. So it's slowly making its way. And I thought it was an excellent interview. I think he showed us that, he is a Colorado fan. He's a Shedeur Sanders fan. And that's important when you have a lawsuit and you're filing emotional distress. You actually have to show a connection. And clearly there's a connection. He's a fan. And, they talked about various things, but there were some takeaways that stuck out to me. I feel like he did a good job of explaining why he was suing. Of course, he was asked, why are you suing this? And one thing that came out that jumps out almost immediately, second question in, he's intelligent. He knows his way around the law, the legal system, which is very, very important. Um, and this is no joke. It's not a joke at all. He explained why, he listed certain acts in his complaint, like the Consumer Protection Act, the Sherman Antitrust Act. He explained that, etc. So we're getting ready to take a listen to a snippet that I curated from that live stream that I wanted to share with you all. And I already watched the interview once. So what I'm getting ready to hear is after hours of me doing other things, multitasking. So if you see me react, it's because I haven't heard it in a few hours and I had to breeze through it when I saw it the first time. So it's like we're watching it together for the first time, but maybe, I've seen a little bit of it. All right. So, hey everybody, how y'all doing? Let me share my screen and then we'll just go from there. Okay. All right. So, here we go. I'm at the bottom of your screen.
To the show, Eric. How you doing?
I'm doing great, boss. I'm sorry about that. I keep getting calls coming in when you're trying to do something. But you're absolutely correct with your analysis of what we were dealing with. The only aspect that a lot of people's not really understanding is the consumer part of it. And that's where the antitrust kick in. Whenever you're doing that and you're affecting people who consume your product, that's when you're protected by the law.
So tell me, what do you want to get out of this lawsuit? What exactly do you expect to come out of this lawsuit?
I want them to realize that they are not allowed to do or carry themselves in that manner. They have been running roughshod over players for years. And like I say, they just recently had an arbitration against them that found them guilty of collusion. Back in December 2024, just like this past December. That's with Kyle Murray, um, Lamar Jackson,
Russell Wilson,
and three other black quarterbacks. So but he did not punish them. So as a matter of fact, I'm on my way to the courthouse now to file a motion to serve the subpoena to get that arbitration report and to get all of that
You can't
investigation
be serious.
material.
This is a TLP exclusive. You can't be serious right now. To the show, Eric. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, boss. I'm sorry about that. I keep getting calls coming in.
Okay. Okay. Let me stop the video. Hold on. Okay. So you heard that. You heard it. This is about the way the NFL conducts business. Now, there's a lot of threads out there. People are discussing this on their various threads. Like I saw one for the Kentucky Wildcats, I guess the basketball team or the football team. The people who normally go there and assemble were discussing it. And on Reddit, Reddit actually has a copy of the filing, and they're sharing it with their community, and they're discussing it. And to me, the Kentucky Wildcat Forum and the Reddit Forum had the same people with the same mindset, that this is a farce. Does he know Sanders personally? What leg does he have to stand on? This will be tossed out, etc. Right? So, I want to say this. I reported right here on a day or two ago, May 12th, the LA Times discussed this in their publications, and they said this lawsuit is no joke. Now, if you watch the entire interview, they went in depth. He was asked questions by the host, who's Harry. Why are you doing this? Have you done this before, meaning sued someone? He said, yes, he actually had a lawsuit with McDonald's. And they asked him the outcome. He said they settled the lawsuit. He said the reason he knows how his way around the federal legal system, which means he's prepared, this could go all the way to the Supreme Court, he's well versed and prepared, is because when he was going through a lawsuit, I think with McDonald's, they took his case and kicked it up federal. And see, in the legal system, there's strategies. They have legal strategies. The strategy could be to stall. Case in point, Michael Irvin. Yesterday, it came out. I don't know if y'all remember when the Super Bowl in 2023 was in Arizona. Michael Irvin found himself in a bad situation where a woman had claimed some things and the hotel had kicked him out, and they were all down there for the Super Bowl, right? Well, he ended up suing. I remember he was suing the Marriott for $100 million. This $100 million is happening a lot. And he settled with them. It came out yesterday. He settled with them. Marriott settled with him. So I was looking for information on this lawsuit and typed in $100 million lawsuit, and what popped up? What popped up was Diddy has another lawsuit out for $100 million by an inmate in Michigan. I'm like, Lord, so Diddy's situation came to mind. We're going to talk about that, put a pin in that, because of how Cassie's lawsuit was a catalyst for what? Additional people to come out and speak up. See, sometimes people don't speak up because they think it's not going to work, or they don't want to expose themselves, or they don't know if they can win because they're small. The NFL is big, and the NFL, I think, did net maybe $20 billion last year, and they're on the goal for 2027, maybe to have $27 billion. And that is very intimidating to sue somebody like that. So there's all kind of legal strategies. You can stall. You can avoid being served. You can drag it out. You can make the person try to go broke. It just depends on what the strategy is. Here, you play cat and mouse. You can ignore it. You can ignore it and see what the judge gonna do. You can try to make sure it ends up in the hands of a judge that maybe would favor you. Today, it was reported that a federal judge blocked the president from dismantling the education system. What does that say? That everybody's not on 47's side. Everybody's not going to do 47's bidding. But I will point this out too, because I was curious. I said, who is the counsel for the NFL? Remember I told y'all after it was announced that after Trump called them stupid behind Shedeur in the draft, I said, well, look at here. The 2027 draft has been announced, and Trump did the announcement, and it's in DC. And I asked y'all, where's the 2026 draft? And nobody knew because nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. But suddenly we know where the 2027 draft is, And number 47, who called them stupid, basically put it out there and made the announcement. So what does that tell you? That tells you who's kind of, we say they need oversight. They got an overseer. Trump is technically their overseer telling them what to do, because I promise you, if this discovery comes out and there's a text message that says Trump say this, that, and the other, or hey, y'all heard what Trump said, go ahead and draft Shedeur, then you're gonna know. That's what discovery is about. I want all that conversation. Now, I don't think the discovery was up to May 1st. I think it was up to May 1st. I don't think it was up to the draft. Shame, because I would have loved to see draft day conversation. but what happened when Cassie filed her lawsuit? What happened? Then this one came out, and this one came out, and then this one, and you got an inmate filing a lawsuit in jail. I didn't even know you could do that. I'm like, what? Against Diddy for $100 million, and guess what? He or she got the default judgment. So technically, they got what they went after. So when you hear $100 million, don't be scared. Don't be scared. This is happening every day. Michael Irvin, the Marriott set up with him. It's public information. You can go look that up. All lawsuits are public information. As a fact, Reddit has a copy of this complaint on their page under r/legal, because they talking about it. Everybody have their own opinions about it, and a lot of people think that it's nonsense. May 12th, the LA Times said this is no joke. After listening to him, he knows exactly. He's well versed in the process. He said he was on his way to try to file, I guess, an order or maybe to subpoena the arbitrator. How many times have y'all heard me say the NFL was found guilty of collusion right around the time of the Super Bowl, and it got swept under the rug? And although they were found guilty, the arbitrator said it was no damages. So if he's getting ready to request that document to see why they didn't get damages, or to subpoena the arbitrator, him or herself, that's huge. That's huge, because that case had a 60-page report, and you could Google it. It said this very little reporting was done about this. And the quarterbacks that I knew to be integral to the case were Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Russell Wilson. How many times y'all heard me say that? So this is a part of his discovery and the lawsuit. So yeah, this is serious, just like the LA Times said. So all those people on the first day who laughed at it and said it was thrown out, well, the discovery's out there. So let's talk about who is counsel and where he used to work for the NFL. In 2023, the NFL hired chief counsel, somebody overall illegal. And the way they got down with that draft, you would think they didn't even have no legal. Because I asked the question, do y'all not have HR or legal? Because this is a violation. I was like, y'all need a compliance regulatory officer. And if you have one, you need to fire them, because they are not helping you to keep yourself out of trouble. And here we go. I said it's going to take something huge, a lawsuit. Here we go. Here we go. Right? And I said, I ain't got to break my back to know it hurt. But, these people going to try it. Because in 2023, they hired former counsel for Facebook. That's one. AOL, that tells you how long he's been at this. And 3, the White House. Yeah. Now, 2023 was Biden's administration. And y'all saw Trump call out the NFL, and then you saw Shedeur get drafted. But what you didn't see was the NFL fined for that data breach, with Shedeur Sanders' phone number being sent out to 2,000 people. And now we have somebody who has an order for discovery, an emergency filing, an emergency motion requesting targeted discovery, meaning they want text, emails, and any other documentation from, I think, last year in 2024, going back to maybe the draft then, up to May 1st. Now, I don't know why they cut it off. But I would have just kept going. I would have went post-draft. I would have went to rookie minicamp. Because I want to know, what were y'all saying on draft day? But the prank, I don't know if the prank can be a part of that, because the video from the prank. I don't know if it could be a part of that because that was on draft night. So I mean, I could be wrong about these dates. But the point is, I wish it had included post draft. I do, because that conversation would have been what we needed. But what did I say? I said they've been planning this. It seems premeditated, and I have a timeline. What does my timeline go back to? Super Bowl weekend. So February of 2025 is in scope. So we get to see what we saw on, I don't know if y'all on X or Twitter, but today the video, remember the video from the Super Bowl weekend where Shedeur was laughing with Roger Goodell and say, hey, you have to let my brother have his way, like, you know, recording stuff. And Roger Goodell was laughing and he squeezed Shedeur on his shoulder. And he said they was laughing about that. And that's when Roger Goodell said, I'm worried about your pops. And he looked away. And Shedeur was like, what? So I watched it a couple of times, and he looked away after he said it. And people in the comments are like, yeah, that don't sit right with me. That don't sit right with me, even though they were laughing about it. Now, we know all jokes, not jokes. We know all jokey jokes are not jokes. We know this. We know this. And I don't know if it's a cultural thing, but we know it. We know when somebody joking and they really serious. So my timeline goes back to that night. But really, what did I say yesterday? I'm going to take it back to the NFL flag football, because Shedeur was in the celebrity flag football game. It wasn't the first celebrity flag football game. So they know when they asked him to be in it, it was because of his celebrity. What is this about? This is about highlighting that this is not about Shedeur's celebrity. Oh, he think he legendary. No, that was a lie to cover up what it really is about. This is not about you know, he too famous and want to be legendary. That's not really what this was about. So we talking about getting to the truth, and that's where targeted discovery helps. And timelines always show us what when things occurred. So if you didn't have a problem with Shedeur being a celebrity at your flag football game that you wanted him to play in, because you had a jersey for him and everything. Michael Vick was there. Michael Vick was historically a legend. Shedeur Sanders is legendary. You invited him there as a celebrity like you did all the other celebrities on the field. So you knew he was a celebrity. So you can't use right before the draft, I don't like that he's saying hashtag be legendary. And you know what I said under the post on X? I said this video right here shows you, for I think it was Chris Sims who came out and said Shedeur basically got ill advice. He was ill-advised or misadvised or whatever he was trying to say. He got bad advice. He meant from his dad. He should have had an agent. That man was standing there laughing and talking with Roger Goodell in the same room with the owners, and we saw Jerry Jones, because Jerry Jones was right behind him. When Shedeur turned around and walked, who was he talking to? Jerry Jones. And Coach Prime was standing not too far away because Jerry Jones was saying something to Coach Prime. When you are in rooms like that, at that level, because you know anybody's not getting in there. This is a corporation that makes $20 billion, and you in the room with the owners, and they laughing and talking to you and squeezing you on your shoulder, and he and a hi, and I'm worried about your dad, and y'all having real familiar conversations. There's no formality at all other than the outfits they had on. It was all casualness. I've been knowing y'all, this, that, and the other. It wasn't like his security, Roger Goodell's security, popped out and was like, who the hell is this? No, nothing like that. These people all know each other. They know Shedeur. Shedeur didn't need no agent. So that was a lie. And that's why you haven't heard it since the first time it was said it. Just like Boomer Esiason told us that they colluded. Have you seen him on any other panels talking? Have you seen Chris Sims running around here still saying Shedeur should have had an agent, that he was misguided? No. They went out there and said that once, and this lawsuit hit. And it's like, wait a minute. We don't be saying nothing now. Don't hold up now. I want to know who's going to get fired. So if you watch the TLP exclusive with the live, they talked about how, I think he said, John Doe said that he was going to subpoena, I think he said Boomer Esiason, or he was going to do something. In other words, he got his sights set on some kind of discovery from Boomer Esiason as to what he had, that what information and what documentation is out there that he could sit on a podcast and say the owners said, take him off the board. I don't want that entitled. Oh, I wish that discovery would have went on past post-draft so I could see what they said when they said, I don't want that entitled, fill in the blank. I would love to know what they called him. I don't want that entitled Shedeur Sanders. You think that's what they said? I don't think that's what they said. I don't think that's what they said. I don't want that entitled, what y'all think they called him? I don't want that entitled young man in the league. That's probably what they said. That ain't what they said. Well, anyway, I would so love to know. So when the next lawsuit drop, please extend your discovery to rookie minicamp in Cleveland. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because Shedeur Sanders was pre-draft process was met. He met extensively with the Cleveland Browns. So we need to know what they said too. So hopefully that's in scope for up to the date or whatever the discovery ends. You know, they got a to and from. So hopefully that's in scope of the targeted discovery. If not, whoever filing their lawsuit next, if you hear this, can you make sure you go to post-draft? Appreciate you. All right. So the whole situation is interesting because now targeted discovery is out there, and I don't know what the end date is. Again, it's on Reddit. You could just go to Reddit. You could just look it up. You could just look up $100 million lawsuit versus NFL, and all the available information is out there. And when you see Reddit, click on it because it's probably going to be the document itself, and you could read it. So, you know, I don't really care when people give their opinion that's negative, that says, oh, it's going to get tossed out. What makes him think he can file for emotional distress? Does he know Shedeur Sanders? And somebody in the comments said, no, I have established that he don't know Shedeur Sanders. What they don't realize is, what did you hear him say? This is about the Consumer Protection Act. This is about, I think, the Sherman Antitrust. This is also about discrimination. And I told y'all, it's documented. It's documented, you know, and then, you know, the emotional distress, he mentioned it in the interview on the live stream that he was very upset. Now, y'all know, if you was on this podcast live with us, it was a 4-hour video that's out there. You could see how distressed I was because I was hot. I was upset because I instantly realized what they were doing. It all made sense that they were defaming Shedeur Sanders so they could justify, meaning the Giants could justify drafting Jackson Dart, who wasn't better than Shedeur. But the GM is in the hot seat, already made a bad decision and fumbled Saquon Barkley. So I can't just go out here and get Dart over Shedeur when Shedeur is better than Dart, and we're supposed to be drafting to win. We're supposed to be drafting talent. I can't exercise my preference without making Shedeur look undesirable to people so it could justify me drafting Jackson Dart. I was hot, bro. I was hot. I got a lawsuit of my own, if you ask me. I'm like, I was hot. I was hot. I was hot because that was ugly. It was ugly. Like, there's never any reason to publicly humiliate and defame and lie on Shedeur. They devalued him. Something the NFL has an ugly history of doing when it comes to Black quarterbacks. Y'all know we have talked about it. We're at the beginning of our series where we're discussing Black NFL quarterbacks and the journey and an experience, some of it ugly, that they've had. And we're looking at it, holding it up to Shedeur's experience, and we're looking for similarities, and we're pointing out similarities. And we started with Doug Williams, public humiliation, public beratement. We talked about Warren Moon, discrimination, having to go to Canada first because the NFL thought that Black NFL players and quarterbacks lacked, coming out of college, lacked the intellectual capacity to be quarterbacks. So the discrimination is there. I mean, it's there. I don't know why people tiptoe around it because it's already there. So, yeah, I understand how a fan could file a lawsuit for emotional distress after that draft. Absolutely, I do. That was disgusting. It was hard when it was Lamar Jackson, but this was worse. And then you add the prank on top of it, and it's coming from the about the Saints and this young man that made the prank. Ole Miss, the connection to New York Giants. he had inside information to know that Shedeur was going to have to wait a little longer. He wasn't guessing. He didn't just call Shedeur and pretend to be anybody. He called while the Saints were on the clock, and he knew they were not picking him. And considering he was in the same room with the executive son from the Falcons, he had inside information. That old misconnection to the New York Giants and that inside information from the Saints, where the Mannings have a legacy with both teams, that old misconnection is somebody that they don't want to come out, but that's what targeted discovery is for. So maybe we get to see, even though I don't think it covers the draft or post-draft, it does cover pre-draft. And I think it covers right up to about the time that Shedeur draft stock started tanking. I think around March 31st, that's when the owner of the Cleveland Browns remembered that he had Deshaun Watson's contract. And when I heard the interview myself firsthand on TLP, I heard him say that Deshaun Watson was a part of that collusion case. Remember, I named 3 quarterbacks. I named Russ Wilson, I named Kyler Murray, and Lamar Jackson. You throw Deshaun Watson in there, he's 4. He said it was 5 black QBs. I don't know who the 5th one is, but what have we said about Deshaun Watson's contract? So if he really is in there, and I have to believe this man knows, because when you listen to him talk, he's well versed on the topic. Yeah, that's interesting, because I think this was around 2023, 24, 25, and Watson already had his contract. So I don't see how Watson could be a part of it, but I don't have time to dispute that right now. I'm out here multitasking myself. So that's interesting. I'm just going to say that. So Deshaun Watson's contract being fully guaranteed is actually the reason Russ, Lamar, and Kyler filed a collusion complaint. Why? Because the NFL gave the only fully guaranteed triple-digit $1 million contract to a veteran, to Deshaun Watson, after he settled 22 civil lawsuits. And why can't Russ get one when it's time for him to renegotiate? Why can't Lamar Jackson get one? I mean, he owned his 2nd MVP and was on his 3rd. But at the time, he already had his 2nd, I do believe. And then what? Kyler Murray, why he can't ask for one? They got colluded against. It was found evidence of collusion. That's what the headlines say. The NFL guilty of collusion. So when you go out right now and you search on the internet about the NFL being sued, AI has put together both of these cases. AI talks about the case with the collusion and the veteran quarterbacks. And then it also says something about this case that's right here, because it's still 2025. In 2025, the NFL was found guilty of collusion right before the Super Bowl in February. So let's go with February, okay? We can go with end of January. It is, what month is this? May? We May pushing on June, and this is the 2nd lawsuit regarding collusion? And we all saw this with our own eyes. I said it on another episode. This type of collusion generally happens behind the scenes, but they colluded in public in front of 7.3 million people. And the fact that he's a fan, he can establish the connection to the situation. Of course, he's traumatized. What did we say when we were talking about this? We've been following this kid, some of us, since Coach Prime's family playbook. Some of us have been following Shedeur since Trinity. That's me. That's where I come in at. Some people knew about Truth Academy and were following him there. Some people came on board at Jackson State. Some people came on board in Colorado. That's a long time, especially going back to Deion's family playbook. And those episodes are still in rotation on YouTube. So even if you came on at Jackson State or Colorado and you ran across his overtime episode, which has 6.4 million views, almost 1 million views less than the damn draft. You watched overtime episode after episode after episode, getting to know this kid, seeing who he truly is in high school. You knew if you watched that he had offers from every school in the country. But when he decided to go to Jackson State, they said he was mid. So it started there with devaluing him. And he had to fight his way through Colorado. What they dealt with at Colorado, they didn't have to deal with definitely on that magnitude at Jackson State, which is probably why they didn't want to leave. So, I watched it. It's a good interview. The host, and it was a host and a co-host. Harry is the host, and he had a person called Panda that was a co-host. Panda know his way around business law. So he said it himself. He got a case. He said it. He got a case. This guy know what he's doing. He's doing it the right way. He's doing his, I guess, since he filed for discovery, when his data starts coming in, to have an AI system to catalog it so they can immediately get it, because the co-host Panda said that they could send over the discovery 2 minutes before midnight on the day that it's due. And then he would have to quickly get it scanned in. And if AI does the scanning, it's going to categorize and catalog the similarities. So he will be able to say, pick out the word collusion, or he will be able to pick out Shedeur. See, law firms typically have people that go through filings. That's what some interns do. They go through a filing and they take and y'all see me with the highlighters, right? They take and they highlight. See, it used to be by hand, and you used to go looking for the same word. Anytime you saw the word Shedeur, you highlight that word. Well, now you can highlight digitally. I show y'all, I digital highlight. I showed you a slide 2 days ago when they were talking about Tyrod Taylor, and I had mocked up what they said about him and underline certain things. Well, now when you scan in things with a document management storage system that's digital, it's going to do it for you, and you're going to tell it what words you want to look for. I want to look for Shedeur, but I'm going to be looking for some other words. I'm going to be looking for the words that they could have possibly used when they said, get that entitled, take him off the board, take that entitled, fill in the blank off the board. I'm looking in for the fill in the blank words. That's the word I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. So then you halfway home. So, I'm sure he has a legal strategy. It was an excellent interview. Even the co-host who knew his way around business law understood this is not an attack of the NFL draft. This is a complaint about the way the NFL does business. Like he said, they've been doing, some of these players, in particular the black ones, like this for years, decades even. How many times have we talked about it? What are we currently studying? We're doing case studies about the way quarterbacks were treated. We have a list of quarterbacks that y'all add people to every day, and we're on quarterback, number 4, Vince Young is up next. We've already done Doug Williams. We've already done Tyrod Taylor. And I felt like Tyrod Taylor's case was very, very eye-opening. And we just did Michael Vick, also very interesting. Still got some question marks there, some inconsistencies with the catalyst for them to get a warrant to search his premises. It's some things happening here. And then, we got Vince Young next. Don't know what I'm gonna find there, but that's the next case study we're doing. We got a list of quarterbacks to discuss. So, he also talked about the financial part where he filed so he don't have to pay any fees. Now, see, when you file that you don't have to pay for any fees, that gives them the idea that maybe they could drag this out and you just give up because you don't have the money to keep going. So my questions were going to be, one, do y'all think, I wonder if he can do 2 things. If he can connect with the ACLU, because they take on cases regarding civil rights violations, and maybe they can somehow be a part of helping him get to the next level if needed, because he might not be. He might wake up and have somebody in his DMs asking him what's his account number so they can wire transfer money. It happens. But I wondered if a lawyer doesn't take it pro bono, as a law firm, I'm taking this. I'm taking it pro bono. Let me get it. But see, it's a lot of people that are worried about too many things. When you do something like this, you cannot be worried about nobody think. You have to just walk through every door that's open. And the fact that he got his motion for targeted discovery and he's getting ready to receive these items, and the media is not talking about it, but journalists are, that tells you something. That tells you what the co-host Panda said. This guy know what he's doing. He got something. He does. He got something. And, you know, it's quite interesting to me. I wondered if he can file, what is it that people use? A GoFundMe. I wonder if he can do a GoFundMe to assist with his legal costs. He said he has to pay for depositions. You know, I guess deposition, and they could keep going with deposition after deposition. I said there's so many ways that they can try to stall, they can try to break him, and then there's their legal counsel who worked where? In the White House. But again, it was under 23, and then a federal judge did just block the dismantling of the Department of Education. So there might be some good people out here, and it just could keep going. He mentioned one of the things that he did think that was interesting that has happened already is one judge was supposed to be looking at something. I didn't catch what it was because, again, I'm multitasking. Looking at something and make a ruling on it. But instead of him ruling on it, it's him or her ruling on it himself. They kicked it to another judge. I said, oh, they're the bullshit right there. The bullshit gonna start. They are trying, believe me, behind the scenes to figure out how not to get this discovery. They don't want to give this discovery. They don't want to do it. People are already saying they want to see evidence of what they said Shedeur Sanders didn't do well on. Shedeur said he didn't have any hard interactions with any of them. And y'all know that Pittsburgh Steelers were positive. The Titans were positive. Y'all heard the Browns be positive. Oh, yeah, Shedeur, you know, he did good when he came in. You know, they kind of cleaned that up a little bit when they were talking. And I felt like somebody was like, no, don't do that. When Andrew Berry was starting to go in. But they were like, no, you know, he's this, he's that. You know, it was nothing bad. But they were very condescending after the call. But y'all see how they walking all that back. You see how Cleveland trying to straighten up and fly right. Because when Shedeur Sanders' phone number went out to 2,000 people on the email, Cleveland, the organization, everybody that works there were the recipients. So they all knew what was going to happen. When Andrew Berry said on the third day, he was asked, what were you thinking when Shedeur Sanders was still available? Well, we just going to see how low he goes. To me, that was very telling. You telling me you knew he could go lower. How did you know that? Maybe we'll get to see it in a discovery. So I believe that right now, the NFL is trying to figure out how not to satisfy the motion for discovery. That's what I think. Y'all let me know your thoughts. But those are mine. Those are mine. So if y'all joined us late, hopefully they'll fill you in the comments. Michael Irvin case, he stayed with it. It was 2023 when the incident happened. He settled in 2025. That's 2 years. I looked up $100 million lawsuit. Diddy came up, an inmate in Michigan is ended up with $100 million judgment against him. And I don't know how long that took, but these people got what they went for. And, you know, from just looking at the media stories about it, when I say media, I mean journalists that have nothing to do with sports. They just report the news. And they're not tainted in any way. They're not working with the right hand of the NFL like a lot of sports journalists are. Notice they're not covering it. If this case was frivolous, they will be telling you that. They will be telling you that. They're not telling you anything because they don't want to talk about it. And when people don't talk about things, they want to be like, act like it don't happen. It didn't exist. But guess what? The regular media that is not sports affiliated, that talks about lawsuits, that talks about the weather, that talks about lots of things, is talking about this. Just like on Reddit, this is not under a sports section. It's under Reddit /legal. So people who talk about legal matters are talking about this because it is something to talk about. It has teeth. It has legs. So I'm going to see who in the chat. Hey, y'all. Charlotte say, hey, how you doing? Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you for the emails. Thank you. Hey, Marlon, how you doing? Thank you for the warm wishes. Thank you so much. Gracie, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the emails today. Thank you so much. Tina, thank you also. I think y'all are my media team. If I say I got a media team, it's Jerry, Salafi, Gracie, Tina, Charlotte, And and anybody, and that's who sends me email. They keep me up on it. So shout out to them. Shout out to them. Thank y'all so much. And Regina sent me a story about Michael Irvin today. How he wasn't happy about what took place with Cam Ward. So slowly but surely, what's starting to happen? So it came out, the NFL, the schedule, and who has primetime games and who not. Now Cleveland don't have any, but that kind of makes sense. But the Titans, they have the first round overall pick and just paid him a guaranteed of $40+ million, 3 or 7. I'm not sure what the number is. And he has no primetime games. So Regina sent me an article pointing out that Michael Irvin wasn't happy about that. He said he thinks it's a rare oversight. I'm like, what? If anybody ought to know it wasn't a rare oversight, it should be him. He just settled a lawsuit with the Marriott. And I don't know what the grounds were. I have to go back and look when I have time. That's not a priority for me. But he said he thinks it's a rare oversight. So let me tell you what I notice about people when they get on these platforms here that are connected in the right hand of the NFL. They gonna either not speak the truth at all, or they gonna speak half truths. Like Shady McCoy said, it's obvious that Shedeur is the best player. They need to stop playing with him. And okay, so the NFL tried to teach him a lesson. Yes, he's good. He said that he's a first-round QB drafted in the 5th round. Didn't I say that? I said Shedeur Sanders is not a 5th-round QB. He's an elite QB1 who was supposed to go in the 1st round that was pushed to the 5th round. And when you say it like that, it prompts question marks and asks, why would you do something like that? And that's why they don't say it like that, because they don't want people to come back like me and go, now, why is a 1st-round draft pick going in the 5th round? And that's what the lawsuit is about. The way the NFL conducts business. You don't have the right to make Black quarterbacks' lives harder, devalue them in the draft, try to switch them off to wide receiver, to say that they lack intellect and their brains are inferior to white NFL players. That's how they run business. That's how they run their business. That's why he sued them. I just said it should have been for more money. That's all. That's all I said. So just like Cassie's case, lawsuit prompted the rest. Remember that guy, the record producer, Lil Rod or something like that? Remember his lawsuit? And his lawsuit was just as revealing. And some other people got roped up in it. So I think that's what's going to happen here. Like I said, this not the only one. This the one we talking about. And just like Cassie's lawsuit was the catalyst and opened the door for other people to have the courage to file a lawsuit. People said what happened with these situations where in that situation is because people were afraid. People were afraid to sue. And because she did it, and she, and here's what's crazy. Here's what's crazy about that. When she filed her lawsuit, it didn't go public first. Her lawyers went to them. Her lawyers went directly to them and said what they was going to do, and they wanted $50 million. And you know what their response was? His legal team? Oh, this is shakedown. This not true. And then they filed that lawsuit, and guess what? Within 24 hours, they said she got $50 million, and she asked for 30. You see, that's how it go. And I said this earlier. See, I'm a rational person. When I feel the heat get too hot, all right, I'm good. But I don't even do that. I don't play with people like that. I don't disrespect people. I don't discriminate against people like that. I don't scapegoat people so I can get what I want. I don't step on little people that I think don't have a voice to get where I want to go. But that's what people do when they shiesty. See, some people say shiesty. That's the term. It's shiesty. 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 Or it could be Sheisty. But it's shiesty. That's shiesty practices. That's why they're being sued for the way that they conduct shiesty business practices. That's why. It's just $100 million. $100 million is not enough. Because they just got hit and settled in 2021, violating the Civil Rights Act of 1964. $1 billion lawsuit. And that's why it needs to be $2 billion. Because maybe they're going to stop this. Because they not gonna see they make 20 million. If you making 20 billion a year and you projected to make 27 million, you don't care about paying no $100 million. Hell, they might pay that just to kick it out the way so we can talk about something else. And by we, I mean print media. They don't mean us. My channel's small. But we're on the road to 1 million subs. So I need you to stop what you're doing, hit the like button, and please subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you hang out with us all the time, consider becoming a member. We are on the road to $1 million. I'm sorry, and that could be right too. 1 million subs. 1 million subs. 1 million subs. And my media team, my moderators, my co-producer, we are all starting to scale a little bit and grow. And I appreciate everybody that sends me noteworthy information. I typically try to respond within an hour or two, unless I'm tied up, but I respond before the nightfall or the sun comes up because I'm grateful. I told y'all, I don't do the humble thing. I'm forever grateful. I'm grateful that y'all take the time to think, hey, she might like this. So I encourage y'all to keep sending me the information. Peter said he's from Jacksonville. If you see something on Jacksonville, send that to me via email. What she said, What she said 404@gmail.com. And if you see Jacksonville, if you see anything about Monroe or Seattle, y'all know I like Jalen Hurts, Philadelphia. Y'all know we got Cam Ward in Tennessee. We got Shedeur Sanders. We got Shiloh Sanders. I keep trying to get to a story I have in queue about Shiloh. I'm just saying right now. Shiloh got his master's, completed his master's at Colorado. So I'm happy for Shiloh. He did the work. He finished with his master's, and now he's in the NFL playing for Tampa Bay. So I'll take any Tampa Bay news. I'll take any news pertaining to the Ravens because we got LeJounte over there. I'll take anything. You can email me anything about North Carolina in terms of the Panthers, and then Travis and BJ Green and Cameron Silver-Craig down in Jacksonville. Anything about any buff that's on any NFL team, plus Jalen Monroe, as well as Cam Ward, feel free to send it to me. And if it don't have nothing to do with that, but you think it's interesting, send it to me at whatshesaid404@gmail.com. My email is in the bio. All right, so I'm getting ready to read some of these comments since we have about 12 to 15 minutes left. Hey, how you doing, Tina? Regina, thank you so much. Thank you. Just coming in. How you doing? How you doing? Isaiah, thank you. From Cali, right? Hey, from Cleveland. All right, Bo. Thank you. And Bo, you can see anything to my email address about Cleveland, Shedeur, as it pertains to Shedeur and the Cleveland Browns. I appreciate it. Marlon said, yeah, I remember. You must be talking about when we was on draft night. I believe the Michael Irvin situation was an issue. Yeah, that Michael Irvin situation was strange. Because the woman who was in the lobby and said something, I don't think she was a stranger. I think she knew him and she somehow planted herself there and lied on him, and the hotel sided with her and just kicked him out. I think that's what it was. Something like that. But yeah. Oh, and did y'all know when that happened, he got kicked off the NFL Network. He has been off the NFL Network since that incident in 2023, and he just got back in 2025. So now he's back. Isn't that something? Right before the Super Bowl, he get kicked off the NFL Network because of that situation. He settles with Marriott, and because Marriott probably had to settle with him, he got his job back at the NFL Network. Now that's interesting. That is very, very interesting. So Marlon, yeah, it's something going on there. How you doing, Jerry? Thank you for all the insight you emailed, Jerry. I appreciate it. So yeah, everybody's being nice and pleasant in the chat. Thank y'all so much. This is some powerful info. Yep, Marlon, it is very, very, very interesting. I remember that video, Tina. Tommy say, hey, how y'all doing tonight? Oh, thank you, Tina. Thank you, Tina. Charlotte says it's good to have a sense of discernment. Yep, Shedeur knows. He does. How you doing, Eric? All right, Eric. LOL. So yeah. Priscilla Pompous. Yep. Okay. Wait, Priscilla. So I asked the question. I said, I wonder what they said. Like, how did they say it? Get that take him off the board. Get that entitled Pompous what out of here. That's what that's what Priscilla said. They called him Pompous. That's what you think they called him? That's funny. It says, they did not say, I don't know. I don't want that nice young man over there. Yeah, that's what they said. Take him off the board. I don't want that nice young man over there. I don't want that nice young man with that handsome curly hair. Get him out of here. Yeah, that's what they said. Oh, Lord. Hey, fam. Hey, Kiel. How you doing? Nice to have you back. Nice to have you back, Kiel. And we were all upset that weekend. Ooh, we were upset. Good food, good music. Boy, when I tell you I was going to take that video down, I was so upset. Some told me to leave it up there. So if anybody need any evidence, just go to the 4-hour-long video on draft night. Look at the date, and you feel free to use it. Just tag me when you do. That's all I ask. Hey, everybody. Hey, good food. Thank you for joining us. Tina said, you know it, Tina. Tina, you know it. You know it. What letter of the alphabet? Type the letter of the alphabet of what y'all think they called him when they said, take him off the board. Get that entitled, fill in the blank with the first letter of the word you think they called him. Just fill it up in the chat, not the word, the letter. And get him out of here. Some of us said pompous. I said nice young man. Not nice. That's the letter N. Oh, Lord. Anyway. Yup, Tina. It say I lost sleep the whole weekend. Yes, Charlotte. I couldn't even go live the next day. I ended the live after fussing. I said, y'all, I gotta go. And I'm not gonna be back tomorrow. I gotta take a day off. I'm telling y'all. So yeah, it is highly plausible. It is very believable that he was stressed. I hope he recorded himself because he could use that. He could use it. If he can't use that one, he could use mine. Because I was upset. Lord, I was upset. I remember Jerry saying, you all right? Jerry, do you remember that when I was upset? You took my... Jerry was like, are you all right? I was like, no. And he said, my Shedeur gonna be okay? Woo! Lord have mercy. Woo! Yeah, them moments. It's funny now. That shit was not funny then. I promise you that was not funny. So I know people was upset. Woo! Priscilla said, you should try and partner with the plaintiff. Okay, Priscilla, thank you for that. It said, y'all, yeah, all Shedeur fans were hotter than fire. We was hotter than fish grease. Cause I know, boy, I was hot. I might have to share that video with y'all. That was funny, bro. I was like, oh Lord. I didn't even go live the next day. Y'all know I go live every day. I didn't even go. I said, I'm not gonna be live tomorrow. I can't do it. I need a minute. So emotional distress is warranted. Whew. So I know. This man got a case. I'm telling y'all. Yeah. Bo laughing. Bo, were you upset, Bo? Bo put up the hands. He like, yeah, we was all upset. Priscilla said, not to mention the residual microaggressions. Yes, that continues. And see, that's important, Priscilla, because the fact that they sent out his information to all 32 teams, and one of the teams that got his information along with the waiver wire and the joke that they were sending out via email is Cleveland, and he has to be there. And look at how condescending the call was. And we did a side-by-side comparison where we talked about the call with Shedeur and the call with Dylan. That's up there too. It's on one of the episodes. And then I talked about, how Andrew Berry was very condescending, not only in the call, but how he was still using that entitled trope. So I was thinking it had to be hard around there for him at first. Or maybe he didn't see a lot of it, or we don't know how he kept this up. But what did I tell y'all? I said somebody need to be down there with Shedeur. And what were they worried about? Green shirt on that little Cleveland ESPN podcast. Who is this? They wanted to know who Boog was. And I said, see, I don't trust Cleveland, the Browns organization, with Shedeur's safety, his security, and his career. Jackie said Roger, should be worried that what's going on in Coach Prime's mind. Yeah, he should. Quiet means still water runs deep. Facts. This is not over. Okay, you know what? Let me see if I can find that right fast. Hold on. Just give me 1 second. 1 second. Because I think I actually commented about it. And I'm going to see if I can. I think I got it right here. Give me a second. If I went away on the screen, I'll be right back. Because I think this is very, very interesting. Hold on 1 second. One second. I ain't have it queued up because I wasn't gonna really I don't know why. I guess I wasn't gonna really talk about it. Here it is right here. Okay. Okay, so let me know if y'all ready. Let me share it.
You gotta let my brother have his way in the league. Yeah, you gotta. I'm worried about your pop. So, how you doing? What you worried about him for? What's going on? Hey, look. You doing all right? You gotta let my brother have his way in the league. Yeah, you gotta. I'm worried about your pop. So, how you doing? What you worried about him for? What's going on? Hey, look. You doing all right? You gotta let my brother have his way in the league. Yeah, you gotta. I'm worried about your pop. So, how you doing? What you worried about him for? What's going on?
All right. So
you gotta let my brother have his way.
So let me
yeah, you gotta. I'm worried about your pop. So, how you doing? What you worried about him for? What's going on?
Okay. All right. Listen. All right. So I played it a couple times so everybody could see it. This was draft night, 2/8. I think this is the date my timeline goes back to, but I said I was going to push it back to the NFL celebrity flag football game that Shedeur was invited to participate in. He had a jersey. He was on the sideline. He didn't play, just like he didn't play in the Shrine Bowl because teams asked him not to play because it seems that they were going to draft him and they didn't want him to be injured. That is also something that should be taken into consideration because if you were worried about him getting hurt and you were going to draft him and you met with him at the Shrine Bowl, you didn't want him playing in a celebrity game, that says either you were pretending all along or, something. But it's important and it should not be overlooked, much like this video that we just talked about. So y'all saw the video, right? Y'all saw the video where Shedeur is in a room laughing and talking with Roger Goodell. They laughing and talking. Roger squeezes them on his shoulder. You know how you doing, like good buddy, whatever. Shedeur says, you got to let my brother have his way in the league. Trying to get Bucky to a place where he can record like he did for Colorado. Probably not as much, but at least, give us something. And Goodell, they just laugh. And then Roger Goodell says, I'm worried about your pops. And he looks off. Anybody pay attention to that? Shedeur's right here. He looks off. And he's like, wait, what you mean you worried about him? So he put it out there. And, Shedeur was like, wait, what you mean you worried about him? So people are talking about that on X. And they're like, yeah, that don't sit right with me. So that's why I went back to 2/8 because I knew about the video. We talked about it on here. But this is our first time sharing it. And it was on X. I said, oh, it's a good time to talk about it. And I said under that video, I reposted it with a quote. And I said, when you're in rooms like that, that's Roger Goodell. Jerry Jones was behind him, Coach Prime, the rest of the owners, etc. You don't need an agent. You don't need an agent when you laughing and talking and hugging and with the commissioner. You don't need an agent. They know exactly who you are. They know exactly who you are. But when he said, I'm worried about your dad like that, and Shedeur like, wait, what? Why you worried about him? Now people are going back to that moment. And they're like, wait a minute. So this goes all the way back to Super Bowl weekend. They've been talking about this. That's why the targeted discovery is crucial. I still wish it could be post, but they are, like I said, just like Cassie opened the floodgates for lawsuits, I think that others will come. And if you listening, please go past rookie minicamp. All right. And you know what? How about you just start from the 2024 draft to rookie minicamp, or rookie minicamp 2024 to rookie minicamp 2025. That'll get everything. All right. Kiel said true. Yeah, everybody was upset. Smile in your face. Yep. This could be why these owners were mad, the way he seemed at ease with the commission. Now, I'm telling y'all, there are videos when Shedeur was a teen. Y'all know he worked out with Tom Brady. Tom Brady mentored him. That's why Skip Bayless say Tom Brady was shady or slimy and stabbed Shedeur in the back. He did. And it ain't no way around it. And then there's a video, and I think it's very interesting who's in the video. It's Coach Prime with his bandana on, running routes against a quarterback. It looked like Peyton Manning. I don't think it was Eli. I think it was one of the Mannings brothers, one that was a quarterback. And Shedeur was throwing the ball to this particular Manning. Now, I already told y'all the association with New Orleans and the Mannings and that legacy down there. But I also said what? It seemed like the Mannings run the New York Giants in terms of the QB and who they going to get. That Ole Miss connection, which was associated with that prank that they don't want to identify that person. That's deep. That's pretty damn deep. And what did I say about I think I just said something that took place got other people caught up in it. I don't even know what I was talking about, but I said, yep. And then when this took place, it got other people caught up in it. And I think that's what's getting ready to happen. And I think that's what's getting ready to happen, because it's not a coincidence that the Mannings have a legacy with the Saints where it looked like Shedeur was possibly going to go. But I read an article that said, don't buy nothing into that. They knew Shedeur was not going to the Saints. They knew that. They knew Shedeur wasn't going to the Saints. They also knew he was never going to the Giants. All of that, the Giants trying to meet with Shedeur at the last minute, they was trying to set him up. They were trying to say, we went to all your games. We came, we interviewed, we were really interested in you, but you didn't want to come here. He never said he didn't want to go there. He said he wanted to go to a team where he could change the culture because he is a transformative QB. They was in their feelings. Not really. They just pretended to have an issue with Shedeur so they could justify not drafting an elite QB1 when they saw it. They fans got their GM on the hot seat. And he about to go make another. What did I tell y'all before the draft? I say they gonna make an asinine move. I said I know the Giants gonna make an asinine move. They gonna draft Jackson Dart. That's what I said, and that's what happened. And that's why they were doing all that to Shedeur, and that's why I was upset. That's why I instantly realized it, because I expected them to do something stupid, and they did. And they wanna put it off on Shedeur so they could get their preference done. But see, it's not just the Giants. It seems like the man has got a hand in this. And maybe that's why we don't know who the Ole Miss sweatshirt guy is that made the prank call. But he definitely knew. He definitely had inside executive level information to know that Shedeur was not going to the Saints. He called while they were on the clock. I thought it was in the bag then. Why are you worried about my dad, though? Right. See that right there? That changes everything. That right there. That's why my post with the timeline with Shedeur is that's why it actually has dates on it like that because it's a timeline and I'm establishing how far back the plot goes. How far back were they colluding? How long have they known that Shedeur was not going to any of these teams, that he was going to be in undrafted agent? How elaborate the scheme was. That's why I put together the timeline. And the only thing I'm going to change on this timeline is instead of 2-8, which I think was the night of the video that I just shared with y'all from the Super Bowl weekend, I think that's where, hold on, I'm trying to find this. I think it goes all the way back. Now, this was a post right here. I'm going to share this. This was a post right here that came out, and I feel like it changed things. I feel like this was the first person that was not a Sanders that spoke out on Shedeur's behalf. One moment, let me share this. This post right here, it says, I was the first offensive coordinator that Shedeur Sanders had in college. And I have been with him throughout his career. He has had multiple offensive coordinators in college and has never, all caps, had a problem learning a new system, being prepared, and executing at a high level. Stop the lies. What was that on? May 5th? May 5th. This is the only person I can think of that knows Shedeur. If there's anybody else, now we know when that quarterback coach, the anonymous quarterback coach that was revealed, because Warren Sapp was looking for him. He said, I'm gonna find out who it is. He was upset. And then there's Pollock, Coach Pollock. He spoke out. He posted about it. I use that as a thumbnail all the time, and I'm gonna keep using it because it shows that these people concocted what appears to be an elaborative, premeditated, poorly orchestrated plot to collude against Shedeur, devalue him in the draft, push him as far away from becoming a QB1 so he does not become the 17th of 32 Black starting quarterbacks, because the NFL has such disdain and racist practices and policies that they settled a lawsuit for, saying that Black NFL players have lower cognitive functioning than white NFL players. Quarterbacks are NFL players too. And quarterbacks are looked at as the kings, the most important position on the team. What did Andrew Berry say in his post-draft press conference? Quarterback is the most important position on the team. Right. And they don't want Black quarterbacks with the most important position on the team. One of the things addressed by the TLP live stream was the hurdle of proving that because you drafted Cam Ward first, it means you could not possibly be racist. I'm like, this 2025. And I said this to somebody on Twitter. I said, just because you got one Black friend don't mean you're not racist. There are a lot of corporations that have put one Black person here or there to try to get away with not being racist, but they are. So you can prove that. And the way you prove that is because it happened to Milroe too. And then you prove what happened to the quarterbacks in the 2024 class. You prove how they all got drafted. And when they got to their respective teams, 2 out of 3, one got benched, the other one got sacked excessively. You point out the theory about the Black quarterbacks being punished with sacks because they don't want these Black young quarterbacks coming in, number 1, and 2, starting, and 3, rising to 17 of 32 Black QB1s. I have said it multiple times, the ugly history that the NFL has, practices and policies against Black NFL players and Black NFL quarterbacks in particular, which is a subset of Black NFL players. It is documented. They have a problem. They don't have a problem with Travis Hunter. Why? I said it. He's not a quarterback. But it said in Jacksonville, they starting to shift the blame his way and take the heat off of Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence is protected. We know that because he overpaid. Now we got to watch who? Milroe. Now we got to watch who? Jaden Daniels. So to see if he becomes CJ Stroud of the sophomore slump. They say he's treated like a king in Washington. Let's see if that helps. Then people have asked, how many times Shedeur Sanders going to get sacked? I didn't like that. But it's a reality we need to keep our eyes open for. The more and more you hear people who hated on him, his detractors pre-draft, and I saw it again today, Colin Cowherd saying he could start. Now, why you want him to start all of a sudden? Because you repeated everything the New York Giants said. And we know they have scouts. So what did they document and say to the Giants? Did they just happen to dismiss every report from the scouts? Is that why they got new scouts or certain low-level scouts are now high-level scouts? Certain area scouts went national? Because I'm going to look up them area scouts and see what areas they were assigned. And if one of them is Boulder, there's a lot here. This is deep. And when you see that video that's on Twitter that we just looked at, you see just how deep it is. So when Chris Sims came out and said Shedeur Sanders was misguided, meaning by his father, who they tried to clearly detach him from emotionally by blaming him for his drop in the draft. And Shiloh even repeated it and said, hey, my dad, I wouldn't give me an agent because you're supposed to be helping us. I was like, Shiloh, shh. He came back and cleaned it up. But he shouldn't have said that because that meant he thought that there was no impropriety here. And clearly there is. But he even said it, hey, if this is what they doing to you, I know what they going to do to me. But Coach Prime said they was going to do that to Shiloh anyway. He said Shiloh going to have to work his butt off if he want to get drafted. And he didn't get drafted. And clearly, if you look at his footwork in Tampa, he worked his butt off. He did. They didn't care. The question is, when we get the discovery, I want to see where they going to ever draft any of them. Because they waited till Shedeur got drafted and the floodgates open for the rest of them. I want to see the conversations about how LeJounte went to Baltimore and when that decision was made. I want to see when they decided they was going to get Cam. Because Tennessee kept meeting with Shedeur right up until almost the end. The New York Giants was clearly out here pretending. That's why I was so upset. It was obvious that they had been planning this all along. But when you see that video with Roger Goodell at the Super Bowl weekend, that's how far back it goes. And when you go back to the celebrity football game, you understand that they knew exactly who he was. They used him for his celebrity then. So now you don't like it. That's a lie. This could be why those owners were mad and seemed because he was at ease. Well, Roger Goodell, the NFL, the phone number is that's who sent out the phone number, the NFL. I think when Roger Goodell said, I'm worried about your pops, they already knew. They already knew. They already knew what the plan was. That's why on or about February 20th, the NFL Insider went to Mel Kiper Jr., who needed at least a minute to put together that podcast episode, saying that Shedeur Sanders was not the kind of quarterback that the NFL wants now, which means they made a decision and it has something to do with the current time period. Now is what I would highlight in yellow, along with kind of quarterback, type of quarterback, that kind of quarterback. And then Andrew Berry tried to keep it up by saying what in his first post-draft conference? Oh, yeah, Shedeur is a retro-style quarterback with a classic style. Trying to say his skills are outdated. He must have forgot they drafted Jackson Dart and Tyler Shaw in Shedeur and Milroe's place. That's why it was two quarterbacks, and the second one was astounding to everybody because why would you get him? You need people to go along with the foolishness, and everybody not going to go along with it. You got to get people you could trust. If I send an O-lineman out there to mess up, I got to be able to trust he's not going to tell nobody. If I send a tight end to go out there and mess up before halftime and I keep putting them out there and, he's still messing up and he costs this one particular team the opportunity to go toward the Super Bowl, to move further, I got to be able to trust him to know he ain't going to tell nobody that we had this conversation. You got to get people you could trust. That's why it couldn't be Quinn Ewers probably. Maybe he don't get down like that. Maybe that's why it couldn't be Will Howard who won the Natty, because he don't get down like that. I needed maybe I needed somebody from Mississippi, Louisiana, Kentucky. Maybe I need a certain mindset. I clearly gotta, if I'm a collude and be in cahoots and get somebody who know they're not good, I need somebody to keep up the party, keep their mouth shut. I saw that picture of who went to the White House. Looked like a bunch of linemen. That's the first thing I said to myself. These some big guys. I really don't care who went, to be honest. If you had something to do, I don't care if you didn't go. I don't care either way, but it was quite telling. It was quite telling. And they were some pretty big guys. Might explain some things. Yep, Tina. You're right about that. They protect for sure. They protect. You are definitely right about that. How the NFL leadership needs to be sued, and how and by whom and when. Okay. You say how to you mean individually, like a civil lawsuit individually, like against the commissioner or somebody? Is that what you mean? I need you to expand on that, and you can email me if you want to. My email address is on my bio. I promise you, if you come my way with some foolishness, I will hack you. Understand it. Understand it. Your digital footprint will be everywhere, and I will use it to the best of my abilities. Just know. They used his celebrity for the combine. He was on their profile picture. Yes, and I heard people say how after he was snubbed in the draft, he was all over the place on NFL media, this, that, and the other. Somebody said the Cleveland Browns had a poster, like a post with Travis and Shedeur on it. I never saw it. If you see it, email it to me, please. I'm just curious because I didn't see that. And I would like to see that. I would like to see that. Because the Browns had dinner with Shedeur and Travis after CU's Pro Day, which was on 4/4. That's why it's on my timeline. Yep. Hey, Tuna, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Don't forget when Prime and all his sons went to Dallas game and Jerry Jones was all over Shedeur, grinning like a Cheshire cat. Yes. When he saw Shedeur, I knew exactly what he saw. He saw the future. And everybody pointed out how after that Nebraska game, when Shedeur got sacked a lot, I noticed it was in the second quarter. I didn't say nothing at the time. I noticed Jerry Jones went and signed Dak Prescott contract, and people started posting on social media, well, I guess he ain't gonna get Shedeur now. It looked like he waited. And that Nebraska game wasn't nothing but a setup. That Nebraska game was nothing but a setup. They was in hostile territory, number one. And number two, the old lineman for Colorado. Whew, not a coincidence we saw certain people tapping out. We had linemen just up and missing. Because I think the truth was coming out. And I caught something one time, and I never talked about it. And it's on one of Bucky videos. One lineman, when Bucky came by, put his helmet in his face. I thought that was interesting. And he left CU. He left CU. CC. Hey, CC, how you doing? No weapon formed against me will prosper. He's a cash cow for the Browns. Right. And if they were actually business people and cognizant of that and not trying to hold him back, one, he would have had on his number 2 jersey. And 2, they would have him out here front row and center. Hey, is Shedeur gonna start? Their season would be sold out. People who don't watch Colorado football, who have heard so much about Shedeur, want to see him play. And what they saw of him in camp, because they didn't talk about his stats, that was very telling. Shedeur's stats, he blew it out the water. One day, 5 touchdowns, 28 of 30 attempts and completions, hella accurate. And over 400 yards on his way to Mr. 500. He might not be Mr. 500 in NFL. The competition should be stacked and better. It should be a little tougher. So I would get Mr. 400. I would give him that. But even with that, they came out and said what this week? Oh, Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett gonna take what? Some kind of reps, 1 and 2 reps or something like that. People were upset about that. They like, why are y'all playing? That's what Shady McCoy was talking about. Y'all know he a first round QB, an elite QB1 that was pushed down to the 5th round. That's what he was saying. But then he let the NFL off the hook by saying, oh, they was just trying to teach him a lesson. No, Shady, they were not. Because they were not trying to teach Lamar Jackson a lesson. They were not trying to teach Doug Williams a lesson. They were not trying to teach Warren Moon a lesson. And everybody in between. Geno Smith, Tyrod Taylor. I could go on and on and on. And we're doing Vince. We're studying Vince Young next. I keep on to call him Vince Carter because I told you I'm a basketball fan. I actually have a Carter jersey. I might wear it. I have a Carter hat. I might wear it. So yes, no weapon formed against me. Absolutely. But faith without works is dead. Understand that. Faith without works is dead. I heard someone say Cleveland sells out of their games. I wonder if that's really true. It might be. I don't know what else there is to do up there other than the Cavaliers. So, oh, do they have baseball too? They got the Indians, I think, or something. Oh, maybe they call the Guardians now. The Guardians. My bad. Julian, Dino up the scope. Come through. Could you add Joe Gilliam? Okay, y'all want me to add Joe Gilliam, the quarterback, Joe Gilliam? Okay, I have to learn about him. I will add him to the list. He was the first black quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He led the Steelers towards the first Super Bowl. Oh, his story stings. His story stings. This was in the early 70s. Oh, okay. So he was around the Warren Moon era and the Doug Williams era, I think. Okay, got it. I just took a screenshot of it. JG said, in that Nebraska game, I noticed Shedeur was looking at the line like, what the hell are y'all doing? Felt like it was a deliberate attack, not protecting him. It was. I'm just going to tell y'all, that's what people say the O-line was being paid not to protect Shedeur. I just said it. People say some of the people on the O-line was getting money. I did 2 videos about it. I was live outside. And one of the people went somewhere else. Justin Mayer's people never, I even said it. People don't know what side Justin Mayer's bread was buttered on. But Coach Prime said he's a good friend to my son. So something, maybe he somehow, showed who he was. That's what people said, that the O-line was on, not the whole one, not the whole O-line. Some of them O-line boys was on the tape, get money, not protecting Shedeur. And that came right out of the year before. And you know what I thought was strange? I thought it was strange that Coach Prime would have somebody on that O-line from the previous year. I was like, I wouldn't have done that. I would have let all of them walk. From year one? Oh, no. See, because you don't know who you could trust after year one. Because did anybody from year one come and tell you anything? Did anybody from year one fess up and say what the problem was? No. So all y'all would have had to go. And then I think the center tapped out with the snap fluffers and that's what people were saying. Them guys was on the tape. And that is when Jerry Jones, I think if somebody could look up the date to when Dak got his contract extension, whatever it was, right around the time we played Nebraska, let me know if Nebraska was first and Dak was second, because they said, I think it was that night or the next morning. It was so close. It was as if Jerry was looking at getting, Mr. Jones was looking at getting Shedeur, and then he saw the Nebraska game, and that was it. That's what everybody was talking about that night or the next day. That's what the conversation was following the game. The NFL versus 5 QBs, what she said. Oh, okay, Patricia. That's you talking about the collusion in earlier this year? Okay. I think that's what you're talking about. You can thumbs up if that's what you're talking about. Joe Gilliam was way better than Terry Bradshaw. Joe was coaching at Lane College in Tennessee. Okay, I'm going to say this because I said it earlier. You heard me talk about how black QBs are not the majority. They're not the majority of the quarterbacks. They're this many out of this much. And with this many have ascended with Shedeur as to number 17. You know how that happened? And this means they weren't forward thinking. Every black QB in the NFL is elite because of what they got to go through in college to get to the NFL, to get to play so you could see if they good or not. The only people that get trashed are people like Geno Smith who went to horrible organizations, including the Giants. Tyrod Taylor, because they kept moving him around. Tyrod came in 2011, Geno Smith 2013. That was the era. See, I could divide up the eras based on the punishment against NFL players, because that's what it was. I didn't want you, so I'm going to punish you. In the era from 2011 to 2013 with those guys, and I could go up and look up some more and see who else fell into the era where they had to hop around. Because when they keep moving you around, you got to learn a new system. Oh, okay, so you want to be a quarterback. They wanted Tyrod Taylor to switch off. He didn't. So he got moved all over the place. The question is, did they try to do the same thing to Geno Smith? And if they did, it explains maybe why he got pushed down to the second round, just like Lamar Jackson got pushed down to 13. So Lamar Jackson came out in what, 2018? Tyrod Taylor, 2011. They were still switching these guys off to wide receiver from 2011 to 2013. And that's just because I know when Tyrod Taylor came out. I probably gonna go look and find some other quarterbacks, maybe 2009. They didn't want to switch off Michael Vick, though. I didn't read anything like that. They just said he couldn't read defenses, and that wasn't the NFL. That was like an independent scout who had his own social media at the time. 2009, YouTube was out. So maybe, 2009, Twitter was out. Maybe he was on Twitter. Dak signed September 8th. When did we play Nebraska? Hold on a minute. I know it was early. Colorado versus Nebraska football. What was the date? The score was 10-28, September 7th. There you go. Look at it right here. September 7th. September 7th. There it is. See? Now you see what happened? See, that when people sue, you can go back to that incident. You can get discovery. You can ask questions. You can do this, that, and the other, and you can prove that they were meddling in your career. You sure can. You see how the dates align? That's why I do timelines. You see? So maybe people were right. Jerry Jones looked at that game and was like, nah, let me just go and secure that. I mean, can you blame Jerry Jones after that game? But the O-line, they set him up. They set him up. Tried to do the same thing with Justin Fields. Oh, we need to put him on. He's on the list. Joe Gilliam is who I'm going to add. They kept saying he should be a running back. What? I didn't know they tried to switch Justin Fields. Hey, that was what, 2023? What was that, 2023? Oh, that's crazy. Man, they don't stop, bro. They don't stop. They just don't stop. And that's why $100 million is not enough, because it just happened in 2021 with the they don't want black players to be quarterbacks because if you believed in 2021 and you fighting it in 2024 that black people have lower cognitive functioning than whites, whether you truly believe it or not, those are your practices, those are your policies. And if you still fighting it in 2024 when you agreed to settle a lawsuit for $1 billion for what billion with a B, that's why you don't want these black players being quarterbacks. You never did. That's why you banned them initially. But it probably got to a point where it looked untoward. And okay, I got to let this one in. Okay, I got to let that one in. And I feel like that's what they did in the 2025 draft. Okay, I had 3 in the top 10 last year. Now, I don't want 3 in the top 10 this year because that's going to start changing things. It's going to start changing and they are going to become the majority, and they're going to be at the top of the money list because the QB1s get the money. So if I devalue them in the draft and they still ascend to QB1 like Jalen Hurts, he got a $53 million contract, which I think if it is 253, he was also drafted number 53. I thought that was interesting when I was doing my research. Could be a coincidence, but since I don't believe in coincidences and there's no such thing as coincidences, only God's way of remaining anonymous, they still picking on Jalen Hurts. I actually found that meme. I think one of these betting sites posted it. It's the meme with Jalen Hurts. The same 9 smile on every square, like they did a 9 square grid. And he was looking the same on every one. And I said, you know what? Y'all don't know anything about Black culture. Anything at all. And that's what gets me. How they want to make fun of things that they don't claim, the things that they can't claim to care about, they don't bother to learn about. Like, I don't like get that entitled, fill in the blank off the board. I don't want him to leave this, that, and the other because he used hashtag be legendary. That's manifestation. They don't know that. Why you don't know that? Just like they don't know Shedeur has an amazing, impressive arm strength. So you didn't care to know, or you really know and you pretended you didn't so you could do your dirt. Shiesty. That's shiesty behavior. The Buster from the Cowboys got $100 million contract. When was this? Oh yeah, because he makes $60 million a year, I think. Was that a 2-year contract or something like that? He at the top of the money list. The judge agreed that the QBs in this lawsuit were colluded against, but didn't award the QBs money. Yes, that's it. That's what you were talking about. Okay, Patricia. I didn't know Deshaun Watson was a part of that. What was the 5th QB? Because I knew about 3. I knew it was Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, now Deshaun Watson. Who was the 5th QB? Somebody, Patricia, if you can, drop their name. Legendary. Right. You mad at Legendary. You mad because he manifesting greatness. You don't want him to manifest greatness. How you don't want your quarterbacks to manifest greatness? Oh, I'm sorry. You do want your quarterbacks to manifest greatness, the white ones. You don't want your black quarterbacks to manifest greatness because you don't even want to see them be your quarterbacks. So you surely don't want them to be great. That's the difference. He is legendary, though he's carrying on a legacy by definition. Him and Shiloh, yeah, they are carrying on a legacy. But Shedeur has his, Shiloh too, but Shedeur is, I say he stepped out of his father's shadow. And for me, I don't know when the last time he was in it, but I'm going to tell you one thing. We looked at it on Twitch. If you watch the last 2 minutes of that Baylor football game, that's when he cemented his legacy at CU. And I wonder how many NFL scouts and the people that defamed Shedeur took the time to watch any of his games, especially the Baylor game. That game showed you fortitude. That game showed you what Shedeur was made of. He was sacked 8 times. The difference between the Nebraska game, I think that was in 23, or was that the same year? I don't even know. The Nebraska game and the Baylor game, regardless of what had happened. I think that was, anyway. The difference is in the Nebraska game, Shedeur hadn't realized that his O-line, that was the same year, because it's the same people. Shedeur had not realized at the time that his O-line was selling him out. See, people felt like they weren't built for the bright lights. Because remember that big guy, number 9 or number 5? Remember, it was a number 9 and a number 5. And he was huge. He might be in the NFL by now. It looked like the O-line couldn't keep up. And it was said that they were scared. They were intimidated by the size of that big guy. that was running over our center, and our center was holding on to him for dear life, like he was a speed bump. And number 9 was a car or a Mack truck. So I think Shedeur thought they were just overpowered. But when he got to that Baylor game and he was sacked 8 times, he realized it. The weakness is coming over here from the left. I mean, from the right. And he got the hell on out of there and rolled to the left. And it was said that Pat Schumer recognized it too. And I don't anybody remember, but Well Off Media was recording, and there was a video. I don't remember if it was a Baylor game or another game, but that coach, that was the O-line coach at the time, said, it's not him, it's y'all. I said, why y'all having these conversations on the sideline? So basically, when they would have their position meeting about the O-line, they were blaming Shedeur. When they played UCF, they played the most complete game ever. I feel like the UCF game, because the O-line got to a point, Coach Prime could be heard saying, if you don't start rotating them players, I'm going to do it for you. And I remember when they was in the meeting room, that coach he kind of made it look like, oh, he talking to me. I knew he wasn't going to be back. I feel like he didn't make any adjustments. All he did was yell. And they wasn't listening to him. And you could look at who was standing in the back and not listening. And that's where the weaknesses were. Wasn't a coincidence that people was giving up, tapping out, going MIA. It wasn't at all. They knew what they was doing. And people on the inside was getting close to figuring out who it was and had actually figured out who was being compromised. It wasn't a coincidence one O-lineman, when Bucky walked by, put the helmet up in front of his face. He was trying to hide from Bucky. I don't know if Bucky noticed it, but I damn sure did. It's still out there. And they don't go to see you anymore either. So Shedeur didn't know in the Nebraska game. But he quickly realized, after being sacked 8 times, and that ain't quickly, but he realized, if we want to win this game, I got to do something different. And they did. He rolled out that pocket to the left, and the rest is history. That game showed you what Shedeur was made of. Even the announcer said in the game, the O-line isn't even giving him time to get the ball off. And that's where they messed up. They were blaming him, but they were collapsing before he could even set his feet. If you can't hold up that long, you shouldn't even be playing football. And it was too many of them. It was obvious they were doing somebody's bidding. And maybe one day somebody will fess up and tell the truth. Because if their careers don't go nowhere and they end up working at Wendy's, they're going to be upset that they took what they had and threw it away to do somebody else's bidding. And he still won the Golden Arm Award. Exactly. That's why people say Shedeur was the best QB in the draft, Daryl. They said he's the most battle-tested. This man didn't really have an O-line in year 1 and only threw 4 interceptions. That's another thing people say. His touchdown to interception ratio is low. In year 2, he only had an O-line on one side, the left. From the center to the right was straight up trash and inconsistent as hell. And selling out. That's why most of them not even around. Even if they had eligibility, they out. That's what scares the NFL. They know if the call is not working, Shedeur is going to change it and make it work. The fact that they was upset that he had the ability to make plays, I was like, why are you worried about that? That was the lowly assistant. That's what I said. No disrespect to assistants out here, but in the NFL pecking order, no, you're not even an executive. I don't think. I think the DCs and the OCs are executives, and that might be maybe the head coach, and that's where it stopped. If you're an assistant out here defaming talent, what the hell is you doing? You shut up. That's what you do. Because you don't have no say so. You're not even a regular coach. You an assistant. And how dare you out here try to be anonymous and defame somebody? You don't even have no skin in the game. That's what your quarterback is supposed to do. Right. But see, they don't want him to use his thinking ability, because what is it that they practice and preach behind closed doors and publicly until 2021 about black NFL players? If black NFL players in 2021 let the have lower cognitive functioning, I don't trust you to make no decisions. You do as I say, boy. How you think you better than me? Because you don't have no you got lower cognitive function than your white counterparts. That's 2021, guys. That ain't even 5 years. We're just not 2025, and we still on the front side of it. They haven't even started Christmas in July yet, because it ain't July. Just like 2 collusion cases back to back. Early 2025. Hell, we just on the other side of Q1. We just passed the first quarter in business. And now it's another collusion case. And that took place in the last month of that took place in April, the 4th month. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. I read an article about the BYU incident. Oh, okay. If you have it, Gretchen, send it to me, please. I'm watching the game and I'm listening to you. Is that the Knicks and the Pacers? Is that, or are you talking about the WNBA? What game you watching, Isaiah? Please hit the like button. Yes, y'all hit the like button. Hit the like button. We're close. 68 in here, 72 in here, 68. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Thank you, moderators, holding it down day one. Thank you, my media team. Thank y'all. Keep sending me that insight. I appreciate it. Thank you, my members, family, Kiel, Gracie. Thank y'all, my new friends. Thank y'all so much. Tuna, Anthony, Elijah, Jackie, Monique. Of course, I have Jerry. I have James, and I don't know. Am I missing somebody? Darlene, maybe? I try to remember everybody's name. I'm working on it. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Stroud, last QB not mentioned. Oh, CJ Stroud is in that? Oh, okay. I hope he can get that document. I really do. Daryl Heyman, you know it was Khalil. The fact that you know it was tell me a lot of people knew who it was. Thank you for that, Daryl. I appreciate that. Tuna said, okay, thank you, Tuna. Did I say your name? Thank you, Tuna. I hope I said your name. Isaiah said, oh, it's the OKC. Let me make y'all laugh. So apparently the OKC Thunder all had on their Rolexes. Did anybody see this? And they were in the middle showing all their Rolexes. And Shy was like sitting in the background. I don't know if he bought them Rolexes or they all just went to the jewelry store and got a bunch of Rolexes. But they were showing them off. And I think the song Perfect Timing was playing in the background. And whoever was talking did like this or something like that. It was like a nod to Shedeur. I think Bucky had posted it. I was like, oh. So, yeah, we're going to be doing this all season long. We're going to be doing this. I don't care if Travis scored. We're going to be doing this. You know, Travis be having his little dances. Travis is getting married. Today is technically, it's still Friday. Travis is getting married in 2 days. I know the wedding is going to be beautiful. Y'all know Mama T, Miss Taisha. She was the wedding planner. Go look at Coach Prime season 3, episode 5. And she's in it with Travis and his fiance. They're talking about the wedding. And that's on Amazon Prime, Coach Prime. Go check that out. I can't wait. I want to see photos. I want to see video. If I had some free time, I probably would drive right up the hour to Chattanooga. The place is this big. I can find it. And I'm sure somebody on the ground, Jerry, I think is in Chattanooga, could tell me where to go. And I could maybe get y'all like an aerial photo with a drone or something like that. But I'm happy to wait. I'm happy to wait to get the photos. I'm happy to wait. But Chattanooga is only an hour from here. Everywhere is an hour from here. In the South, anyway. In the South. Shy number 2. Oh, Shy wears number 2 like Shedeur. Okay, thank you for that, Isaiah. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy, why you looking like that? You looking like perplexed and you laughing. What's up with that? You're in Benin, Africa, and it's 4 a.m. You watching us from Africa, Daryl? Thank you so much. Awesome, guys. Awesome. some podcasts follow me on X. If y'all on X, follow me on X. So I'm starting to get a little love outside of our bubble because I feel like we're in a bubble sometimes. I don't really care about that. I just be having fun. Y'all want to make me laugh. My co-producer be telling people, she don't just know sports. She no sports. She be saying stuff like, yeah, they ain't draft Shedeur and they owe him $50 million and his mama had red velvet cake for dinner. He said, how do you be knowing this stuff? I say I take that as a compliment because what you're saying is I have a level of detail that most people don't pay attention to. So I take it. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Take care of business, friends. Yes, Julian. So Shy is number 2. I saw that Rolex thing. Okay, good, Jay. And that was Shy sitting down in the background, I think. So Shy won the MVP. Whoa. So where the watches came from? They had them already, or were they buying them? They look like they were like the Louis Vuitton store or something. I didn't know. Just subscribe. Yay! Yes. Who is that? Crystal. Oh, I like the way you spell your name. Yes. Thank you for a new sub. We are on the road to 1 million. I'm serious. I'm not playing. I know it's about 2,700 subs a day, but I'm just gonna keep going, and God gonna part the Red Sea for me. So make sure y'all subscribe. All right, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. We are hour 45 minutes in. That's technically almost 2 podcast episodes. So we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna be back tomorrow at 12:30. What are we talking about tomorrow at 12:30? We shall see. All right. So remember, we don't do that humble talk. We forever grateful around here. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 12:30. Feel free to learn from anybody because you should not have to break your back to know it hurts. And I will see y'all tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you can make it for lunch. If not, we'll be back tomorrow night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday night. If you on Twitch, turn on your notifications. Make sure to follow me because I will pop up because I'm anxious to watch the replay of the UCF game with Colorado. That was the most complete game. And I dropped a short about Juju, our QB of the future, graduating from high school. So go check that out. Hit the like button and leave me some comments in the replay game. Thank y'all so much. Hashtag wrist up. All right, y'all. We out of here. Do not forget we're on Spotify. If you're moving around, cleaning up, gardening, doing laundry, or on an executive jet somewhere, and you have the ability to put some headphones in and listen, check out Listen Up by What She Said podcast on Spotify. 3 episodes available. Shannon Sharp, Travis Hunter, and Shedeur Sanders. Painful push to 144. All right. I'll see y'all later. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you so much.